I haven't done one of these in a while. I don't know if you can tell already, but my eye is a little bit swollen. But regardless, we took 2 trades yesterday. We took one on EU and one on GU. By the grace of God, both of them were dubs, and we're going to be going over both of them today as like a little trade recap. So the first one was on EU. It was this little scalp. I didn't have much confluence except for like we were just following the trend, and I wanted to target this area right here, which was a high time frame fair value gap. So I was like, okay, cool, we are bearish. I want to see price continue into this imbalance. Took a little short, took some profits, and then broke even. And then GU was a nice trade. If we get rid of everything, we can see first off that the 4 hour on this trade was recently bullish. We can see that we're extremely bullish, making higher highs, higher lows, and the fact that we are respecting this bullish 4 hour fair value gap. Let me just rewind price a little bit. So we can see we're holding a huge bullish 4 hour fair value gap right here. I'm like, okay, cool. Where do I think that the market wants to go this week for my daily bias? Well, first off, I could see that we have a 4 hour fair value gap right up here, as well as buy side, which is a good draw on liquidity. But also, I could see that we had this new week opening gap right here. We'll call it a NWOG. New week opening gap. So that's just the imbalance like the market makes whenever a new week starts from Friday to Monday. Right, so I noticed we're bullish. I noticed that we have targets being the new week opening gap and then these higher targets. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's take a long. Obviously, we did have lower targets being this 1 hour fair value gap. So I wanted to see this 4 hour get respected or see price to come into the 1 hour. But yeah, we see price tap into the 1 hour. Now at this point, I'm like, okay, cool. This is where I want to see price start reversing. And we scale into the smaller time frames. And I remember I entered late. I didn't catch the initial move. Obviously, the best entry is after price taps into this 1 hour. But I don't even think the market gave us a good entry at this point in time. But basically, we come into the POI, we disrespect a bearish 5-minute fair value gap with this candle right here. That's our first confluence that price is going to go higher. We might have tapped into this bullish 5-minute, but it's not like a clean fill. It wasn't anything like obvious. So at this point in time, I was like, okay, I don't really have an entry. But one thing that I am confident about is price pushing into this new week opening gap. So although we did take out a few draws on liquidity right here, and that could have caused price to start reversing, I was still like, nah, I reckon we're still going higher. Because like, at this time in price, there's obviously been bullish like momentum since this area. Buyers are obviously in control. After we come up to this draw on liquidity, do we really think the market is going to reverse and start going lower? Or do we think it's going to push another, 7 pips to our next TP? So I was like, okay, cool. I think it's a higher probability that we're going to continue being bullish. We have higher targets being this new week opening gap. We have higher targets up here. I'm going to try ride the trend, and I'm going to look for an entry inside of this 5-minute fair value gap. So price comes down and comes into the fair value gap. Now, I'm going to try to remember or show you guys where I entered because I can't actually remember fully. You can see that it's after we disrespect a bearish fair value gap. So if we look at the chart again right now, obviously we're holding this 5-minute fair value gap right here. Right, we're respecting this, and then we have a bearish fair value gap right here. As soon as price broke above it, let me get rid of the 5-minute. As soon as price broke above this bearish 1-minute fair value gap and then came back down, that's when I entered, as you can see from like my meta quotes. So I target the new week opening gap, put my stop loss. I think I went for a 2 risk to reward, something like that. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's see how this plays out. Now, at this moment in time, I think this was an SMT with Euro USD. Look at 1035 and 1021. Yeah, look, 1035 and 1021. We have a low, and then a higher low, and then a lower low. But if we look at GU, we have a low, and then a higher low. So that possibly could have been something that was going to push price higher, this bullish SMT. I'm starting to use the VWAP and CVD, but I don't think any of that played out in this trade. And yeah, we can just see, boom, we push up to the new week opening gap. I take my first TP there, and then I leave half for runners. My next target is at the top of the new week opening gap. Boom, that gets hit. My next target after that is this. Drawn liquidity. Boom, that gets hit. And then my final take profit was at the big 4-hour fair value gap plus that drawn liquidity. And then we can see consolidates a little bit and then hits. So yeah, those are the 2 trades I took. And yeah, peace out. Oh, I forgot to add, I took this on, I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I took this on a demo account. Do you know why? Because I tried to log into my funded account and I had to fill out all this stuff. I've already filled it out. I've already submitted it. And yeah, so I couldn't even take up my funded account, which kind of sucks. But regardless, we still won. And then this morning, I got an email from one of one, Mr. TJR himself, saying that the accounts are being mitigated, or account migration, which basically means I can't trade on my funded account, and this would have been a nice trade to take. But regardless, we still won it on the demo account. But yeah, I've heard a lot of dodgy things about one of one, about them not paying out traders and stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.